This week on Flix Freaks, we review Windfall, starring Jason Segal, Jesse Plemons, Lily Collins, and directed by Charlie McDowell. A man breaks into a tech billionaire's empty vacation home, but things go sideways when the arrogant mogul and his wife arrive for a last-minute getaway. Hello, welcome to Flix Freaks. My name is Brian Donovan, and this week we are reviewing Windfall. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So we'll start off the plot. Let's talk about the plot. I thought the plot was excellent. There was a lot to think of. This follows what's known as Chekhov's gun principle. And what that means is every element in the film has to have a purpose. So if something is shown in the shot and it's kind of isolated and kind of gets a second or two of being the character in that particular shot, you can pretty much bet that you're going to need to remember that, because that is going to play a part in the movie. That's going to almost be his own character in the movie later on. And when you see something like twice, it's like, okay, well, something's coming up. It's like, yeah, so I want you to pay attention to that. I'm not going to give it away, but I do want you to pay attention to some of those elements. Charlie McDowell did a good job of making sure that all the elements line up in this particular movie. And the nice thing is it just kept going, like, here's a little new piece and a little new piece and a little new piece and a little new piece. So it just keeps you hooked, and it kept you going throughout the movie, and you wanted more. You wanted to see the outcome. The opening shot is a static shot. It's kind of what you almost call like a Kubrick shot, which is, it's just the backyard court area, and it's dead center on the house, and it doesn't move, and you just have opening credits throughout. Then you get this pan right where you start establishing the location itself. Then we just get thrown right into the story. And that's another thing that personally I like. It's kind of like reading like a good novel or a good story, which is, if you have events lined up from A to Z, a lot of books, they can just start you. So we're going to start off in L, and we're just going right to it. We don't need establishment of characters. We don't need building. We don't need location. We don't need time frame. We don't need any of that stuff. Here's a story that's going on right here, right now, and just going right with it. And I personally like that. This one just throws you right into it. So the opening scenes in Act 1, we're introduced to Jason Segal's character, and we can tell he's disgruntled and he's not happy, and he probably doesn't belong on this property. And you see this within the first couple of minutes as he's walking around the property. Then you have Plemons and Collins characters that come into the story within a minute after that. So again, there's not a lot of like, hey, here's all this establishment. A lot happens within the first 5 minutes of this movie to hook you and to reel you in and to create a whole bunch of interest to where you want to see what's going to happen next. But Plemons plays the guy, I guess we could say the obnoxious, spoiled brat tech billionaire guy. Lily Collins plays his wife. And then Jason Segal plays the guy who robs them and kidnaps them, holds them hostage, that type of thing in their own vacation home. There's a passive aggressiveness with everybody, and there's a politeness. And there's boundaries, I guess you could say, and almost like a code of ethics as this whole kidnapping robbery is going on that you don't see in modern films. What you see in modern films typically is you got the bad guy and they capture the billionaire and his wife, and he's going to do bad things to them, and they're trying to escape and that type of stuff. And it's very aggressive and can be very brutal at times. And Segal's character is more like an unwanted house guest. The Plemons character is like, hey, all right, I'm going to get you what you want. We're going to do this, and then you can just go about your day, and we'll forget about you, and we don't care anyways, because it's like the amount that we actually have and possess compared to the amount that you're actually going to get and you're asking for and requesting, it's peanuts to us, and we don't care. Just take it. It's charity to us almost, and like, go away, go live your life. We don't care. That's kind of the mentality. There are periods and pieces where you can actually empathize with every single character on this. And I say that because, like I said, Plemons plays this tech billionaire who develops his algorithm and built this company. And unfortunately, the company that he built and the subsidiaries that he built and the sister companies that he built unfortunately is kind of taking over an industry and is kind of crumpling other companies in their pathway. And you could look at it as like, oh, he's just stepping on other people. And it's like, yes, he is, but more than likely what it is an industry is evolving and there's other companies that are not evolving as quickly and keeping up. And unfortunately, those are falling by the wayside. So with his mentality, you start to see and you start to empathize because he gives this little speech at one point where you start to understand his mentality. It's like, look, I'm not trying to do this. I'm trying to do things that are going to better humanity, better society, better. And he sees himself, I guess you could say, as a little bit of a egotistical savior, if you will, if you want to take it that far. But he's pleading his case and letting you know that, look, I'm trying to do good things. I'm not trying to be a bad guy. The same thing with Segal's character, which is you look at him and it's kind of like this guy who's at the end of his rope. He's desperate. He needs his money for something or for somebody or whatever. We don't really know in the beginning of the story. And it's easy to side with him because, like, well, you know, I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular Joe. As the story develops, you might change your mind as time goes on because maybe he starts to crack, or maybe you start to see him in a different light because of some of the conversations he's had with Colin's character or Plemons' character, and you may not view him at the same at the end of the movie. And then I don't want to leave out Lily Collins because she does a really good job. She plays the prenuptial wife, and she had a whole life before everything, and then she marries this tech billionaire, and now things changed, and she's going through that inner turmoil of, hey, I used to be this, and I kind of used to be a regular person, and now I'm not a regular person, and I know that, and I kind of miss being a regular person, if you will. So she has that inner struggle and that inner turmoil on her own, and she does an outstanding job portraying that character. Now we'll talk about the soundtrack, the score. The score was really, really good. Again, it had that classic feel to it. And the score really helped increase that suspense, the highs and the lows of the suspense of the story. Now, who would appreciate a movie like this? If you like suspense movies, you're going to appreciate this. If you like something that makes you think and makes you pay attention to the details, you're going to like a movie like this. If you like classic movies, which all those tie into, you're going to like a movie like this. So as far as my Netflix ratings, I'm going to give this movie a thumbs up. Oh. There's a nice twist at the end. So again, going back to the kind of that classic cinema, there was a really nice twist at the end that was like, it was really cool. I liked it a lot. And so the twist at the end, like I said, everything ties in, but the twist at the end really was that cherry on the top. And I think that's kind of what sealed the deal. Well, I mean, I was already going to give it a thumbs up anyways. But that really sealed the deal on why I like this movie. So I recommend you go check it out. It's enjoyable cinema. It's enjoyable classic cinema in a modern setting. So until next time, Brian Donovan, and we'll see you again right here because I'm not on a couch or at the movies or anything like that. And if you don't understand my Siskel and Ebert reference, that's because you're not as old as I am. I'm getting there. So, see you next time.
Thank you for watching Flix Freaks. Join us again next week when we review another Netflix original film.